So when you hear the words nuclear physics, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's this weird mix of awe and, let's be honest, a little bit of anxiety. But what if I told you that the very same atomic power that fuels stars and, yes, weapons, has also been harnessed to become one of the most powerful healing tools in all of medicine? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're diving into the incredible world of nuclear medicine.
You know, the story of nuclear physics is really a story of duality. It's a force with two completely different faces. On one hand, you have immense destruction. But on the other hand, you have this incredible power for healing. And it's that stark contrast that makes its use in medicine so fascinating.
And this quote, this really gets to the heart of the whole thing, doesn't it? The science itself, just knowing how an atom works, that's neutral. It's what we do with that knowledge that makes all the difference. So for this explainer, we're going to focus on its most life-affirming use, medicine.
At its most basic level, nuclear physics lets us see things that are supposed to be hidden. I mean, we use it to peer inside solid objects, right? Like the security scan of a cargo truck. It can reveal secrets that are completely invisible to the naked eye. Now here's where it gets really cool. We can take that exact same idea and apply it to the most complicated thing we know of, the human body. We use this power to look inside ourselves, not just to see bones, but to uncover the subtle, secret workings of our own biology.
So how in the world do we do that? How do we make the body's inner workings just appear? Well, the answer lies in this incredibly clever little tool that acts like a tiny spy inside our system. So let's meet the hero of our story, the radiotracer.
Just think about this for a second. An X-ray, yeah, it can show you the structure of a bone, but how can a doctor see if your kidneys are actually filtering blood the way they're supposed to, or watch how your brain is using energy? That's the question nuclear medicine was born to answer. It's all about seeing function, not just form.
And the absolute key to all of this is the radiotracer. It's basically a normal biological molecule, but with a tiny radioactive tag attached. Seriously, you can think of it like a GPS tracker for your body's chemistry. Doctors pick a molecule they know is going to go to a specific place, like the heart or the brain, and then they just follow the signal. It's brilliant.
And the whole process is elegantly simple. First, the radiotracer is introduced, usually with an injection. Then it just travels through the body and collects in the spot the doctors want to see. Maybe a bone that's healing, or a tumor that's gobbling up a lot of sugar. As that radioactive tag decays, it sends out these little gamma-ray signals, which are then picked up by a special camera that builds this amazing, detailed map of what's happening inside you.
Now, there are lots of different kinds of radiotracers, but there is one isotope that is the undisputed MVP of nuclear medicine. I mean, this stuff is used in about 80% of all procedures, and its name is technetium-99m.
So what's so special about technetium-99m? Well, a few things. First, it gives off this really clean gamma-ray signal that's super easy for the cameras to pick up. Second, its half-life is a perfect 6 hours. That's long enough to get the scan done, but short enough that the patient's radiation dose stays really low. It's also incredibly versatile. You can hook it onto all sorts of different molecules to target just about any part of the body. And the best part? It can be made right there in the hospital. It is basically the perfect diagnostic tool.
Okay, so we've got our glowing spies, the radiotracers, beaming out signals from deep inside the body. Now we have to figure out how do we actually catch those signals and turn them into a picture we can understand. This is where it all started. It's called a gamma camera, or an anger camera. It kind of works like a pinhole camera, if you can believe it. See that lead grid? It's called a collimator, and it only lets gamma rays traveling perfectly straight hit the detector. That's how the computer knows exactly where the signal came from, letting it build a 2D map of all that activity.
Of course, modern techniques go a step further and create 3D images. SPECT scans are basically a 3D version of that gamma camera. But PET scans? Oh man, PET scans are where the physics gets really clever. They use isotopes that emit something called a positron. And when that positron bumps into an electron in your body, they annihilate each other, sending out two gamma rays in exactly opposite directions. By catching both of those rays at the exact same time, the computer can pinpoint the origin with incredible precision. That's why PET scans have such better resolution.
And this just shows you the raw power of PET, because it can use isotopes of things that are already in our body, like carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen. It is absolutely phenomenal for studying how things work. It can spot the drop in brain metabolism that might signal the start of Alzheimer's. It can even map which parts of your brain light up when you're talking or seeing something.
It's literally a window into the living, working brain.
Okay, so far we've only talked about using radiation to see things. But what if we could flip the switch? What if we could weaponize that same energy and turn it from a diagnostic camera into a targeted weapon against disease itself? Well, this is the whole other side of nuclear medicine, therapy. Instead of using a tiny, low dose to create an image, doctors can use a focused, high dose of radiation to destroy harmful tissue, like a cancerous tumor, with pinpoint accuracy.
This can be done from the outside, using a highly focused beam from a source like cobalt-60. Or, and this is amazing, it can be done from the inside. In a technique called brachytherapy, doctors can implant these tiny radioactive seeds, made of things like iridium-192, directly into a tumor. They then destroy the cancer from the inside out, which minimizes damage to all the healthy tissue around it.
Now, I know what you're probably thinking at this point. You're thinking, wait a minute, is this safe? We're talking about intentionally putting radioactive material inside the human body. And you know what? That is a totally valid concern, and it's something medical pros manage with extreme care.
See, to manage the risk, you've got to be able to measure it first. And the unit they use to measure the biological effect of radiation is called the REM. It's not just about the raw energy being absorbed. It also factors in the type of radiation, giving a really clear picture of the potential impact on our bodies.
And this table right here really shows you why the dose is absolutely everything. At very low doses, the effects are basically zero, you can't even detect them. But as that dose climbs, the biological effects get more and more severe. So the name of the game, the most critical part of this whole field, is controlling that dose.
And this is the golden rule they live by. For any diagnostic scan, the dose is kept incredibly low, just enough to get a clear image and no more. For therapy, yeah, the dose is high, but it's targeted with laser-like precision. It's always a careful balancing act, making sure that the huge benefit of the procedure far outweighs the minimal, tightly managed risk.
Which, brings us right back to where we started. Nuclear medicine is maybe the single best example we have of taking this powerful, often feared force of nature and directing it with knowledge and precision toward healing, toward diagnosis, and toward easing human suffering.
I mean, think about it. We've harnessed radioactive decay to create glowing spies that map our bodies and targeted weapons that fight our diseases. We have literally taught the atom how to heal. So the question that leaves us with is, what will it teach us next?